Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Self Literacy Podcast. I don't know if it's episode 10 or 11.
I don't think it's 10 because episode 9 was with you solo.
So it's 11 then, because I did
Cebu.
that was 8.
That was 8, before 9.
So 9 was the solo one, and then I had Dr. Tapelo Mugwati on the platform last week, I think. So that was 10. Let me actually check, dude.
Yeah, see the progress. You guys are actually going crazy. 2 months in, dominating.
Hey man, you're a podcaster too. You're making it seem like you're not in this game.
Yeah, but I mean, when I look at your user channel, I'm like, wow. I mean, 2 months in, like, as you guys can't see what I see, but I see lighting. It's good. It's crispy. The audio.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I know lighting is something that I've been trying to sort out for quite some time, because we get a lot of compliments regarding our sound, the audio, that, hey man, the audio is perfect.
Yeah.
So just fix the lighting. And I know it's something that I've been very pedantic about. Nathan would tell you. We went yesterday to actually source more lighting because I wasn't satisfied. But I'm happy with what we have. It looks really cool. I
100%.
posted it on my social media. People are saying, yo, this is so dope. This is so dope. I'm actually just looking for self-literacy because I'm not sure about the episode. Yeah, this is episode 11. So we did episode 10 last week. Yeah. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm grateful to God. Thank you, Uncle Tawang, for bringing me this opportunity to be here. I don't take this lightly. I didn't expect this at all. So I'm really happy that I'm here, learning, taking this opportunity. I'm excited.
Just take your mic slightly down. It's covering your face.
Yeah, perfect.
So number one, you're a podcaster, right? Maybe just tell people about your podcast before we get into it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, self-interest.
Self-literacy.
Self-literacy.
Yeah.
Self-literacy. I confuse it with interest because I confuse it with self-development. I apologize. So, self-literacy. Family. My name is Omolemo Masibi. I'm one of the 3 hosts of Boys Aloud. Shout out to Boys Aloud. Basically, a podcast where we aim to change the narrative of the boy child. We give our own opinions. We do the best we can do, but we're probably like a year and a couple of months in. We're on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok as well. So yeah.
Nathan actually told me about Boys Aloud. I checked it out, I think a year ago, and I thought to myself, this is so fascinating. And Boys Aloud actually has a double meaning.
Yeah.
When you actually look at it, so it's BOYZ and then aloud, right? Can you explain the double meaning? I think I have an idea, but I want to hear from you.
So in my opinion, the director, really, really intelligent, when she came up with the name. When I explain it to people, I say Boys Aloud, and they always say ALLO, and I'm like, aloud,
Yeah.
giving us the opportunity to speak aloud, because as the boy child, especially in this generation, it's females here, and we've been shadowed. I think it's been like this for ages, and this podcast grants us the ability as boys to speak aloud. We're giving us the permission without asking the female child to speak, and we use this opportunity with courage. We speak aloud our own opinions, and we just say whatever we feel like is necessary at that time of giving. And yeah.
Okay. And how's the reception been?
It's pretty been good. I remember last year, due to the one episode, we received a lot of hate. But besides that, it's been pretty good. Surprisingly, we received more love from the females, more or less at the beginning. But now we see the males coming through to show the support. And all of that. So yeah.
Yeah, because I think vulnerability is a good thing. And if you can tap into that arena, at first, yes, people might feel some type of way about it because males generally, they're not vulnerable people. We are not vulnerable people. But I think as time goes, people start becoming comfortable. And I think that's where the support comes from. The reason why I actually invited Omo to the podcast, to the platform, when you look at self-literacy, we dive into faith, like I said to you. We dive into self-development, and we also dive into relationships. And I thought to myself, I actually want to gain fresh insight on those 3 things from a young person's point of view. And that's why I thought you were the perfect person to come onto the platform. So that's the reason why you're here.
Okay. Fair enough. I appreciate the wise words. As I'm listening, I'm like, your relationships, all of that.
Because also you guys touch on relationships on your
that's
podcast.
True. That's true.
I think you guys touched on rejection, the last episode that you guys did. I didn't really watch it, but I did see, I beg your pardon, the name or the titles on YouTube. And one of the themes was rejection.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, no, this is definitely going to be a safe space for you. So that said, welcome to Self Literacy Podcast. And yeah, please subscribe to their channel, Boys Aloud. They are really sober boys. It's fascinating. How old are you, bro?
17.
It's super fascinating to have a 17-year-old talk about relationships and rejection. And when I was 17 years old, I was partying. I didn't give a damn about anything, so it's very refreshing to have somebody, or a group of people, a group of boys, 17 years old, really being intentional with their lives. And also I have younger siblings, male siblings, and I think I'm going to send them this episode, and I'm going to say, listen, look at this, be aligned. I think alignment is very important. So yeah, let's get into it.
100%.
Do you have friends?
Do I have friends? Yeah, a lot of people ask me that question since I do online high school. They're like, dude, do you still have friends?
What is this, bro? You said that last night.
Yeah.
When we were talking yesterday, you said to me you have online school. Mm-hmm. What is that?
So it's something that's still trying to dominate, but it is gaining traction because of the COVID 2020, that whole change leading to this thing starting in institutions and all of that. It is, it's basically like learning at home, but like independently.
Yeah.
Alone, as I mentioned earlier, and you basically are forced to, not forced, but you go on this journey where you do your modules, you have your schoolwork, your 7 subjects, just like a normal brick and mortar. Only difference is that you're at home, you're alone. You don't necessarily have the support of your teacher spoon feeding you, saying, "Hey, you do your homework. Why didn't you do your homework? I'm gonna call your parents." No, you didn't do your homework. That's your fault.
How do you navigate that?
It was difficult. I started in grade 10. I struggled. First year, I hated it. I asked my parents to leave. They tried to look for schools. I didn't end up going into any schools or getting into any school. Sorry. Grade 11, I adjusted. I started to depend on the Lord more instead of my own strength. And then I realized that, okay, I'm actually good at doing this thing. I'm good at working alone. And then matric now, hey, it's difficult, but thanks to the strength of the Lord, I'm able to progress through. I'm doing better than I expected myself to do. And I'm getting compliments from my peers like, dude, how are you doing this? And I'm like, hey, bro, it's all God.
Yeah. We're gonna touch on God later on, and I like the fact that you actually mention him. Now, going back to the question, do you have friends?
Do I have friends? Most of the friends I have right now are friends I've had since primary school.
Okay.
New friends, not necessarily.
Is it difficult to sort of like make new friends, or is the difficulty in you allowing new people to come into your space? Because I know I battle with that.
Yeah.
When you look at the friends that I have, yes, I made friends. I made new friends last year, and we formed a brotherhood.
That's nice.
But I know before I would struggle to let new people into my space because people come with different agendas.
100%.
And so is that maybe the difficulty for you?
A part of it, I'm a person who enjoys peace. Life is stressful. I mean, I'm 17. I'm already complaining about stress. I don't allow anyone to come into my circle because of peace of mind.
Yeah.
People come with their own problems. They want to stress me out. You don't know the intentions of people. So I do struggle in trusting people and letting them into my circle, into my self-trust. But I'm normally friends, I usually form relationships, with people who I have the same interest in. So whether it's football, gaming, basketball, then we kind of connect easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've had friends, the friends that you have, you've had them for a long time, you say, right?
100%. One of my closest friends have been friends for now more than a decade.
Gosh, 10 years.
Yeah.
That's impressive. What is the secret?
What is the secret?
To making a friendship last beyond primary, beyond high school?
I think every relationship has 3 categories of respect, communication and coordination, or more or less like making sure that you both make an effort to see each other, to do things.
Yeah.
And the respect factor is just you acknowledging me that I'm a human and I acknowledge that you're a human, and we treat each other with love and kind and respect. And with the communication, we make an effort that we know each other's needs and we implement it daily.
Dude, can I just interject for a second?
Yeah.
I didn't speak like this when I was his age. This guy's talking about needs and what and respect. I don't think we cared about that growing up. It's amazing, dude.
Really, I appreciate that. The reason why I say really is because I have the least self-confidence
Yeah.
the way I speak. Actually, at home, I talk to my mom like, "Yo, mom, I'm struggling to speak." On the podcast, I say I feel like I use filler words all the time.
Yeah.
And it's been a journey in terms of speaking, and I thank God for the compliments I receive from
Yeah.
adults. You know, it's inspiring.
My
Especially
woman
from
actually
you.
stutters as well.
Really?
Yeah, she stutters, but it's something that she's worked on. I know when I met her, it was but now it you don't even pick it up that much.
Yeah.
So how have you worked through that?
First realizing that, hey, I need to improve. Growing up in primary school, we used to have this thing called prepared reading or prepared speech, and my teachers used to tell me all the time that, Omolemo, you read too fast. But they'd never give me the solution to, here's how you can, decrease or slow down, articulate each word, each letter. And I had to realize on my own that, okay, there's a problem here, and no one's going to help me because I haven't received help before. So I need to help myself. I need to step up. First thing I did is, of course, YouTube. Social media is now a friend.
Yeah.
Went did this, hey, how can I speak better? I learned that, okay, I need to learn to pronounce each letter. Started with that. Then learning how to speak often. Since I do online high school, I'm always in my thoughts. It's just me, my thoughts, the enemy, God.
Yeah.
Constant conflict all the time. But I need to take some time to speak aloud, So that kind of helped me speaking often, speaking slowly. And I'm still learning. It's still a journey.
It's a journey, right? It doesn't end. That's beautiful, man. I want to go back to friendships. Right. Have you ever had to end
a friendship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you navigate that?
That's a difficult thing. I kind of just, go into solitude. I just switch off my phone. I don't see this person often. Just try to, distance myself. But that doesn't work because eventually they come through again. I remember I used to play basketball. And I used to play basketball with a particular friend, and his energy drained me to the point where I didn't even love the sport anymore.
Sure.
So I distanced myself. But I'm still friends with this person right now. It's just a thing of I've learned to deal with their side comments, their negativity. And I've learned to, be humble and not get angry too quickly. When the problem of when you're trying to distance yourself from people, you can get angry and, become hateful, harden your heart.
Yeah.
And it's a thing of, I trust that the reason why I still have this friend in my life is because of God's plan. If God easily wants to remove this person into my life, they'll go for the next minute, next hour. But the fact that they're still here right now, then it has to mean something. Even though I've tried, to cut them off.
100%. Are you guys on the same level in terms of your faith?
In terms of your faith? Ooh,
yeah.
That's a good question. Most of my friends are lukewarm in terms of Christianity.
Yeah.
They on a Sunday, praise God. Monday to Saturday, truth, music, listening to Playboy Cardi, the latest artists right now, all of that. And it's a thing of, with me, I'm not trying to put myself superior. I'm literally in the same level. Not level. I don't want to put it in a category that, I'm a better Christian than you. Not at all. It's just a thing of, I take my walk with Christ more seriously in comparison to my friends. And the reason why I do so is because I notice how dependent I am on him. And my friends haven't reached a crisis in their life where they realize that, okay, I need to be dependent on God. And cutting off my friends or the way I talk with my friends has been difficult because they don't necessarily have the same values that I have. They don't. They swear often. They listen to secular music and all of that, and I'm trying to cut that off. But it's a thing of, I believe that I'm in their life to try to be the light or plant the seed of faith into the life. The same way my mother did, the same way my friends did. Joseph, all my friends planted the seed of faith. So I'm gonna do the same to my other friends.
Yeah, this dependency that you talk about. Where does it come from? When did it start?
Dependency from God.
Yeah. Because when as you were talking, I was reminded of in the book of Nehemiah. I don't know if you've read the book of Nehemiah, but if you do a character analysis of Nehemiah, one of his notable attributes was his deep dependence on God. Like he's a guy who ended up building rebuilding, I beg your pardon, the gates of Jerusalem, right? So, like I said, notable attributes, very, very deep dependence on God. And, I always reference him in the many talks I give, when I'm praying, when I pray with my team, and Nehemiah would literally go to God about the most minute, minuscule thing, something that you might think is so, so small.
Yeah.
He would go to God regarding that. And I think that's taught me that God is not just great because nothing is too big for him, right? He's also great because nothing is too small for him. So when you talk about dependence, I'm reminded of Nehemiah, and I'm wondering, where did it stem from? Where does it stem from?
I think not only being a young man in 2024, you understand that the pressure of becoming a man or going from the journey of being a young man to a man, there's already pressure. There's expectations that, hey, you need to know A, B, and C, provide A, B, and C. And for me, not knowing how I'm going to do ABC, not knowing how I'm going to provide for my family in the future, not knowing how I'm going to finish matric or where I'm going to go after matric, is realizing that, this is where I need to leave it to God. Because me not doing so, I'm going to drive myself crazy. I'm going to drive myself going into quick fixes, smoking, drinking, doing what the majority are doing.
Yeah.
And that's just a temporary fix.
Yeah. Please allow me in your mind for a second as a teenager. What are some of the things that you guys deal with? What goes on in your mind? I had a chat with Nathan yesterday, and in fact, it was an argument to a large extent. And I said to him, depression seems to be very rife in y'all's generation, and mental health, and so just drive me or lead me, I beg your pardon, into your mind, into your head. What goes on in a head or the head of a teenager, and how do you guys just navigate all these things?
To be honest, with navigate, I just think we learn to deal with them. Every time when you go out, there's temptation. There's your friends' friends. They smoking truth. It's just whole
Smoking what?
truth. Sorry, vape for the self literacy age.
Truth.
The adults.
Okay, yeah, the
The
vape.
vape. Yeah, I
Okay,
forgot. I must change my slang.
I did. I'm not that old. Come on.
It took a
Look,
minute or
I
two.
identify as a 19-year-old, so but yeah, that's a story for another day.
So there's pressure. There's pressure to conform to these normalities of this generation. Everyone is just going into quick fixes, and to be honest with you, that's as I said earlier on. You just have to learn to deal with it every day. The hard thing is that you have to do it every day, but the easier thing is that it gets easier as you do it every day.
Is it difficult to be a teenager at this point in time?
100%. I wouldn't say it's the most difficult has been. The funny thing is that we have social media was implemented so that we can become closer. But this generation is the most loneliest, depressed generation ever. It's funny how we have social
Yeah.
media to do to fix that, but we're the most loneliest generation ever. Gen Z, depression, lonely, drugs, we're dominating. But why are we dominating when social media was supposed to fix these problems? It's fine. It's kind of funny to me, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But to be honest with you, I think the reason why we struggle with drugs and all of these quick fixes, even though we have social media, is because I believe that every person has a void or has something that life has thrown at them, and they go to quick fixes. And the problem is that we go to these quick fixes when we should be putting God into the void, putting God to heal the void in the heart, the pain in our hearts. And some of the literacy families, like 17-year-old pain, what pain have you
Yeah.
experienced that we haven't experienced? Um, the expectation, as I mentioned earlier on, I think that it's been, especially from the woman in my generation, they're so educated. They know that my lobola needs to be 5 million, 50K, all of these things, right?
Your peers.
My peers
Yeah.
have these expectations.
Really?
100%.
They say what? What are
Lobola
just tell me some of the expectations?
should be a million. When you're 18, you should have a car. You should have a Mercedes. You understand? All of these expectations that are built into the boy child specifically, and the females, with all due respect, they don't have much expectations on them.
Okay.
So, for me personally, dealing with all of these on my own, especially since I do online high school, it's been quite difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I can put it quite frankly.
You just mentioned your peers, right? Girls in particular. I actually want to touch on that. Are you dating?
Nope, not this year.
Not this year.
Yeah,
Were you dating?
no. I haven't been in a relationship, but this year I was like, no girls because I'm in matric. So I was like,
Yeah.
I know the moment I introduce a girl into my life, yeah, it's okay, it's gonna be GG's.
You've never been in a relationship?
I've tried to be, but I've never been in a relationship successfully.
Hmm.
So in my generation, we have these things called talking stages. Depends on the type of person. You can talk for months, years, depends on who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And in this frame of talking stages, you try to get to know your partner, and things can happen. Your partner, you don't know the intention of your partner, by the way, in these talking stages. Your partner could be talking to, not potential partner, I apologize, could be talking to multiple people and all of that. And with me, my, not testimony, but my experience, sorry, I've spoke to multiple people or multiple females over my 17 years of living, and the intentions weren't clear. So that's why I say
Intentions from whose side? Your side or their side?
both parties. I'm also guilty.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm perfect. I'm also guilty as well.
And you never get tempted to date. And listen, I'm not advocating that he must date, but I was 17 years old. So it blows my mind to hear what you're saying
Yeah.
because I think when I was 17 years old, I was probably seeing with my 4 girls. I'm telling the truth,
Yeah. Yeah.
And in fact, I think I experienced my first heartbreak
Yeah.
at that age.
Age.
Yeah, 16, 17. A girl broke my heart, right? And I'll get into the story
100%. I'm looking forward
just
to
just
that.
just to give you context. I dated a girl. In fact, I met 2 girls.
Two.
Yeah. So I met a girl same week. I met the first girl, right?
Yeah.
Asked her out. She said yes,
Wait. You met her
yes,
the first week, and you
yes,
asked her out.
yes, yes.
Okay, maybe you have game, riz, but first week.
First week, first day.
Okay.
Asked her out. She said yes.
Okay.
And thank you, God, for sanctifying me and for delivering me. But yeah, we started dating. 3 days later,
Yo.
met another girl. Asked her out. She said yes.
Yeah.
So I found myself in this conflict of dating 2 girls. And I said to myself, I don't want to be in this position, in this situation. So one must go.
Okay.
And you know what I did?
What did
I
you do?
picked the second girl,
Okay. The one you met 3 days after.
the devil.
Yeah.
She was not good for me. That's a girl who broke my heart. I should have actually stuck with the first girl because she was such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
But man, like, and you've heard this, girls like dangerous guys, and guys like to a large extent as well. We like girls who are dangerous as well. So I think that was the phase that I found myself in at that point in time. Dated that girl, broke up with the first one, dated the second girl. Dude, that girl probably cheated on me 2 or 3 times.
In the same span of duration.
No. Throughout like
Oh, okay.
some time, right? Cheated on me. In fact, I was hit by a bottle because of her.
Wow.
Number one. Cheated on me. When I decided to actually now leave the relationship,
Yeah.
she cheated and I actually caught her red-handed.
In the act.
Yes. And you know what she did?
What you do?
She did this. She
Hey.
put her hands on her head
Let's try.
because I think she was embarrassed. But I don't think she gave a damn, in all honesty. And I remember I decided back then and there that I'm done with this girl.
Yeah.
And I'm going to live my best life.
Yes,
So
sir.
post the relationship, I got into a relationship with 6 girls who were friends. So we dated. I dated 6 girls at the same time.
What the heck? This guy's like literally Michael Jordan of the dating.
Yes, nothing physical happened.
Yeah.
No sex, intimacy, right? Because I think at that point in time, dating for us, we were not necessarily thinking about sex, etc.
Yeah.
It was just, being with a girl, being seen with a girl. It looked super cool.
Yeah.
And that was enough. You would get into sex when someone who had experience would come to you and say, yo, right? And then you would be exposed to such. But for the longest time, dating was, hey, I have a cute girl, I have a hot girl, I'm seen with this hot girl. That's all that matters.
Wow.
So yeah, that when I was your age, that is what was happening in my life. So I hear you and you say you haven't necessarily been in a relationship.
Yeah.
That is very fascinating, dude. Super fascinating. Do you think there's a difference between how you guys date and how adults date? I beg your pardon.
In terms of, okay, before I answer, I've noticed two differences as I was been listening to you. Your generation dates just for the experience of dating.
But I
Correct
was
me.
your age.
When you're
Yeah,
my age,
100%.
when just
Yeah.
for the experience that, hey, I have a girlfriend. My generation dates, in my opinion, dates for the same sensation, but also to fill in the void. I've noticed most of my friends get into relationships not only to brag, but then to find themselves through another person.
Shoo.
They don't know who they are. They're not happy with the person
So
in the
you want the other person to hold the mirror for you?
Exactly. Exactly my point. So that's what I've noticed from when I've been listening to you. That okay, it's the same thing, just different intention.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of adults, besides them being more mature, honestly say the only difference is they replace the you and last with a, so the relationships last. Sorry.
Okay.
Us, in terms of my generation, men, majority of the men filled with lust because it's been normalized amongst men from primary school. I can't even remember when, but this image of lust has been normalized.
100%.
You understand? So it's a thing of, I think that's the only difference. It's just
Yeah.
most of these relationships are filled with lust, filled with intentions of seeking acceptance from another person and not yourself.
How do you deal with that?
First of all, as I said earlier on, I enjoy self peace. I sleep like a baby at night.
Bro, I'm sure
knowing
like there are girls throwing themselves at you. And again, this is a disclaimer. I am not advocating for him to date. But I'm sure that there's a lot of girls like just throwing themselves at you. Is
Yeah.
that not the case?
It is, but it's a thing of last year. Whenever those things occurred, it didn't work out, right? And I thank God. And now when it happens, I tell myself, no, my objective for the year is to pass, make my parents happy, and I'll see whatever varsity has for me next year. But it's a thing of I know what I want now, and I'm not gonna allow Zendaya, Beyonce can walk past me. She can be interested in me. I don't know,
But
even though
how do
she'll be
you
a minor.
qualify that? You saying you know what you want.
Yeah.
How do you qualify that with lack of experience?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Um, the thing is, the reason why I say I know what I want is because you know the quote that a smart person learns from their own mistakes,
Yeah.
but a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. And I'm the type of person I like asking questions. I'm like, yo, how is this working out? How is this relationship working out? It's like, he cheated on me. I'm stressed. I'm depressed. I'm like, oh, feelings of stress, depressed. I don't want that. So hence, I already know that okay. Even though life is different, we get asked different questions, tests and tribulations. However, I know that okay, this guy experienced stress, distress, all of these negative feelings. Most of my friends have. Okay, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
Let me wait on that. I don't want to feel that. I don't want my heart to be hardened. You know,
So you're waiting
I'm waiting
intentionally.
intentionally.
Shout out to this guy. I think we need Nathan. Press that button there. That one. There's a button. Okay, it's okay. Don't press it. It's okay. Don't press it. I'm sorry. But yeah, shout out to you, bro.
Shout out to you.
I think we need a lot of. I think we need a lot of young people like you. If I knew what I know now when I was 17, I think I would have moved differently.
Yeah,
I would have moved differently.
you would have been up there.
Yeah, yeah.
A stylist.
Yeah, definitely. Like for instance, I've been celibate for quite some time now. Intentionally so. I'm not gonna get into why,
Yeah.
because I don't want to preempt things and say things that I shouldn't be saying right now. But yeah, made the decision to be celibate, to be pure, to just value my body.
Yeah.
And often I think to myself, yo, had I known what I know now back then, I would have just kept myself.
Yeah.
Because there's so many spirits and you know, I was driving the other day. In fact, I was in an Uber, and I was talking to the Uber driver. It was a lady, and I'm paraphrasing right now, but she said that people think that sex is this cool thing, right? And it's amazing, blah 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 blah. But it actually takes more from you
Yeah.
than you give to it. And I thought to myself, this is so true.
Yeah.
Because now I'm in a position where I've abstained from sex and it was difficult.
Yeah. 100%.
It was very, very difficult. But I'm always encouraged when, you know, the Bible says that come boldly to the throne of grace.
Yeah.
So the cross is sufficient. And that's what I always tell people. So with a lot of my battles, with a lot of the things that I battled with, I think I trusted in my own might before I combated them. And I'd be in a cycle where I'd say I'm going to stop something.
Yeah.
And then I'd go back to it, or stop for like a couple of hours, then go back to it. Stop for a couple of hours, go back to it. And I thought to myself, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Because number one, I'm not being true to myself. But number two, I'm in this constant cycle, and it's draining. It's, you know, I end up feeling despondent at the end of the day. And so I started giving things to God. I started laying things at the foot of the cross, right? And that's when I actually started combating a lot of the things that I was battling with. So I often think about this, that had I known what I know now at your age, I would have probably like be moving the way you're moving, dude.
I mean, I'm not even moving like any. I appreciate the compliment, but wait, before I answer or before I comment, sorry, I personally think that if you didn't experience those same relationships, whatever you experienced in your past, you wouldn't be the great Uncle Tabani you are, right? Tabang, right?
I
now.
hear that.
You get what I'm trying to say?
I hear that, but
you said yourself in episode 9 that God looks at the long term.
Yes.
And you meant that, right?
I did mean that. I did mean that. But I think sometimes, you know, reflection is very good.
100%.
Right? And what I love about God doesn't, he doesn't pinpoint not even certain things. He doesn't point out what you did back then. So he doesn't hold a score. Right? But I think the more you grow in your relationship with God, right, the more you wish that, your God, I should have honored you even more. And I think really that is the posture. It's not a matter of, hey, I'm now regretting. I can't take it back.
Yeah.
And I've said this to Nathan before, and I'm going to say it to you as well. I do not live with regret. We were looking for lights yesterday, and we went into this one shop, and we saw this big TV.
Yeah.
Right? That TV is big. It's humongous, and I think it's on sale.
Yeah.
It's a 7,000 rand, sort of like, what? Yeah, but it moved from 27,000
to 20K.
to 20K, and it's a massive TV. And we got into the shop, and I said to Nathan, I'm buying this TV. But I was playing, I was joking.
Yeah.
Right? I said to him, I'm buying this TV, right? And I don't know what he said or how the conversation went, but I remember saying to him, dude, even if I bought this TV, I wouldn't regret. Yes, I'd like at that moment, I think to myself, what's wrong with you? You know, why would you just get into a shop and buy a TV that's 20,000 rand, right? So that would probably be the conversation at that moment.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I'm just like, nah, dude, there's nothing I can do. I bought it, right? Life is too short to live with regrets, right? So it's not a thing of, hey, I'm being regretful or anything like that. But because of what I know right now, I'm just like, yo, God, I should have started early with you.
Yeah.
It's a desire that I sometimes have, that I wish I had started early with you. You know, but when you look at in the book of Joel, right, and I've mentioned this, plenty of times to the team that I lead that the book of Joel invites you and I into the mind of redemption and restoring. So the prophet Joel makes this prophetic promise to the people of Israel that God will restore their years and redeem their time. Now, understand that redeeming time doesn't mean that God gives you more time. No, it means that He gives you the time that you have left, or He takes the time that you have left, and He does so much for the time that you have left that it actually makes up
for the time you wasted.
Yeah, in the previous season, right? Remember, time is context for opportunity. When time is wasted, opportunities are missed. But God can restore that. How? By opening one door, and that door can actually make up for 10 doors that you missed in the previous season. And so that's the one thing that I constantly tell myself, that yes, I started late.
Yeah.
Yes, I had the realization late. Yes, I got the epiphany late. I've been saved 10 years now. This year, I got saved 2014. But even when you look at the journey, it was just like, I think when I really, really, really got serious for God, it was probably like 3 years after my salvation. But the beautiful thing about God is He doesn't like look at that and say,
Yeah.
I'm going to write this in my scorecard
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't do that. He's full of grace. He's faithful. He's full of mercy. And. So it's just taking it back into our conversation, or to our conversation. It's not a thing of regret, just a desire that I should have honored you
Yeah.
much earlier in my life.
In my teenagehood, a question that's been burning for majority of my life is, what is my purpose? And there was a time from 2020 until 2022, not consistently, but I try to, before I go to bed, I'd pray. And then as soon as I'm in my sheet, I'd close my eyes and then I ask myself my question. If God were to end my life tonight, would I be happy? And back then I would say, no, I didn't buy my Lamborghini. I didn't buy this mansion. I didn't move my parents out the crib and all of that, right? But now my answer is yes, because I truly believe that if God were to take my life right now, if I were to leave this beautiful set, get in a car accident, I'd believe that the people I've spoken to, the impact that I've had on the boys that I don't know who watch Boys Aloud, who watch Self Literacy, I've trusted I've done something.
Yeah.
And that's just more than enough for me.
It's beautiful, man. I like that. I want to continue on the theme of relationships, right?
Yeah.
If you could change one thing about how your generation handles dating or relationships, what would that one thing be? Actually, it doesn't have to be one thing. What would you change?
The thing about social media as well is that social media paints this perfect relationship, this narrative of it's all sunshine and rainbows. You know, it's a beautiful experience. And then when we do it, it's like,
just pull the mic closer to you.
I apologize.
No worries. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Perfect.
And then we realized that, this is not what I saw on social media, on TV. This is difficult. And I think it's as I said earlier on, it's our intention. It's the concept of being and what we aim to achieve with being in a relationship. I mean, there's people are different. You can enter a relationship to either, experience it, to try it out, or you really want to get into a relationship to, you feel that this person is your, not your missing piece, your complementer. I don't think, I know I'm drifting off, I apologize. I don't think your spouse or your partner is your missing piece. I believe that they're your complementer.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll move on there later.
You don't, I can't make you whole.
Yes, 100%.
I compliment you.
Yes, 100%.
I don't complete you.
100%.
Yeah.
And hence I believe that people, or my peers, right, they believe that the void in their heart, that's their partner.
Yeah.
They fill in that void. But I say, no, brother. That's Jesus' part. You know what I'm saying? That's Jesus.
This guy's ministering to somebody. Be touched in the name of Jesus. Yeah, continue.
Yeah. And when you realize that, or whenever you realize that, there's no pressure in terms of whenever you realize it. But whenever you do realize it, then you change your whole thinking of it. That, it's not a competition on who has the most bodies, who's been with the most girlfriends, or most all of that. It's about, does this person compliment me? Am I happy with this female, with this guy? Do I see myself building generations with this person? It's more about that, thinking about it as a long-term investment.
Yeah. That's very interesting. I'm filled with so many questions right now. Like, yeah, it's crazy. 17 years old. It's super crazy. Have you ever had a crisis in life?
Um, 2020. In terms of um, the in terms of faith, I would say 2020, but I wouldn't say a crisis of my life is in shambles.
Yeah.
But in faith, it was definitely
Let's
2020.
let's let's talk about that. How did you handle that? What was it?
So for some reason in 2020, I'm 13 in grade 8, having the time of my life, playing video games all day, not doing any schoolwork.
In 2020, you were 13.
Mm-hmm.
What year is it now? 2024.
Yep.
Phew. Okay.
Time flies.
Yeah.
And for some reason, mid during this time, this winter season in 2020, for some reason, I was convinced that God doesn't love me anymore. I was convinced. I don't know. The enemy did a good job. I'm not gonna lie. He convinced me that nah, God doesn't love you. You're too dirty. You've sinned too much. And I remember for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, I don't remember how long, I would feel so guilty. I'd go to bed. I would wake up in the morning miserable. And I remember speaking to mom, like, Mom, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel like God doesn't love me anymore? And she gave me this book by Joel Austin, and I read it. I didn't finish it. I'm bad at finishing books, but I read it. And when I was reading, I was like, okay, I'm enjoying this. And then I had a Bible that the school gave to me. I didn't use it, but then I started using it again. Then with this, I started enriching myself, and I was reminded that there's nothing that I can do in the future, now, in the past, that can ever separate the way God
Yeah.
loves me. And
Definitely.
that grip the enemy had disappeared immediately.
Yeah.
It was gone.
Interesting. Yeah. So what you just said, it's in the book of Romans. I just finished reading the book of Romans, and one of the chapters um, actually talks about nothing separating that nothing can ever separate us from the love of God. What are you saying, bro? We good? Okay. Switch that one off. Okay, cool.
You got it,
You know,
David.
this equipment nonsense is.
Yeah, we have a fan, a white fan on the cameras because they overheat really
Hey,
quick.
my man. And you'll think because it's winter, like
Yeah.
anyway. Yeah, so the book of Romans talks about that nothing can ever separate us from the love of God. Has this been your testimony? Have you shared it with people?
Not necessarily. I wouldn't want to say it's my testimony because I think I can do much more, or I can achieve much more, or there's something great in terms of um, my transition from being a young man to manlyhood that can spark more as my testimony.
Yeah.
However, if you put it that way, then I would agree with you. But I haven't shared it with much people. I do mention it to my friends there and there whenever we talk, but it was just a really like an important parts of my relationship with God in 2020. That's when
Yeah.
it changed. That's when I was like, okay, this lukewarm stuff, I'm done. Because for a moment or two, I experienced absolute quietness from God. The most quietness I've ever experienced from God. Nothing. When I prayed, quiet. I'm like, what's happening?
You know what I've learned about God? I've learned that no communication is still communication.
Mm,
I found myself in a situation a couple of weeks ago where I felt a bit of anxiety, right? Um, and it's because of something someone said. I didn't express the anxiety to that person.
listen, yeah.
They said what they said, and I took it in, and I remember just having a an intrapersonal conversation. So it's a conversation with oneself, and I thought to myself, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Left the place, got into my car, and as I was walking to my car, I was reminded of David. The Bible says that, and David would inquire of the Lord. So whenever he found himself in a situation, he would inquire of the Lord and ask the Lord, should I? Should I move? Should I attack this? Right? So I'm walking to my car, I'm reminding myself that of that conversation. And I get into my car and I sit in my car and I start praying to God. There's a song by, I think it's Elevation Worship. So Maverick City and Elevation did an album together called Old Church Basement. And one of the songs in that album is called Talking to Jesus. I love that song so much, right? So I get into my car and I start talking to Jesus. In fact, not only do I talk to him, I remind him of some of the instances, that the Bible portrays to you and I, right? And in particular, this moment with him and David, where David inquires of him. And I tell him, I give him context of the situation that, hey, this person said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously, this affects me and I'm feeling anxious, right? And like David, God, here I am and I'm inquiring of you, right? What do I do? And I vividly remember God saying to me, don't do anything. And I didn't do anything. There's been moments when I had to do something and I'd talk to God and say, God, or I'd have to make a decision about something and I'd talk to God and there'd be like complete stillness, silence. And I'd get an answer from that. So I've learned about God that no communication is communication. But you need to rest. You need to allow him to search your heart and all of that, right? And you just need to dwell, even when it's quiet. Just be still. Psalms 46 verse 10, I beg your pardon, says be still, right? And we can break it down, that be still and know that I'm God. We can break it down. And I think a lot of us, we can't be still because he will not speak to us, or rather we will not hear him when there is noise and this and that, right? When you think about Jacob had to be alone to be blessed. He was going back home with his concubines, his family, his children, all his possessions. And he said to everyone else, go before me. I'll catch up with you guys later on. And he remained. That was premeditated, I believe. It's in Genesis 32. That was premeditated. And the Bible says that he wrestled with God. But it invites you and I to the importance of stillness, to the importance of solitude, right? That God speaks oftentimes, but there's just so much clutter and cluster around us, so much noise, right, that we can't hear him. And even when he is quiet, when we are praying to him and petitioning him and just offering him our supplication, and he's not saying anything, he will speak to us, just not in a way that we expect, or not in a manner that we expect. You know what I mean? So I've learned that no communication is still communication.
Yeah. That's one of the main things I'm gonna take away from this episode alone.
Yeah.
I usually assume God's not talking to me. God's mad at me.
He's not interested, or he's feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
Nah. You see, that's why identity is so important. I think it was the second episode where I was chatting to Heavy, and I said to him, and I've shared this with my team as well, where I say, there's a certain prayer that I like praying, and that is, God, please close the gap between how you see me and how I see myself. Please close the gap between how you feel about me and how I feel about myself, because it's often that gap that makes us not walk in the fullness of God. And as you close that gap, remind me that I'm special and significant, the apple of your eye, the object of your affection, that I'm peculiar, that I'm holy, that I'm the salt. And so it's important that we constantly renew our minds. When we renew our minds, we take the mind of God. Because if you're going to rely on your mind, I promise you, it's going to fail you. Yeah. It's going to fail you so many times. So many times I've reprimanded myself. Because you see, the Bible says that the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy, sure. Right? Mm-hmm. The law of superposition teaches you and I that destruction is greater than death. In the case of Ricky Rick, you know Ricky Rick, right? Think about this. He ends up taking his life. But him taking his life didn't just start and end that moment when he took his life. It was probably like a battle, right? And that's when I say destruction is greater than death. The devil will destroy you before he kills you. With death, death is final. Death, you die, like when you die, right? It's final. You're dead, gone.
Yeah.
But with him, he destroys you bit by bit, plants certain thoughts,
Yeah.
getting into depression. There's a back and forth, mental illness, and, right? And then ultimately, he just kills you, right? So I've had moments in my life where I can see that's a devil thought,
Yeah.
right? No, man, this is, and I literally reprimand him.
Yeah.
Like at that moment, I reprimand him. It's like, hey, wait,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that is taking up the mind of Christ, and just killing off your mind, because like I said, if you don't renew your mind and if you rely on your mind is gonna fail you,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, the devil is just gonna pounce. And what I love about the Bible always uses similes to describe the devil. The Bible has never said the devil is a roaring lion. When you think about it,
Yeah.
it doesn't describe him that way. It's always the devil is like. He's like, not he's definitely a. So these are revelations that we need to have to and for ourselves, right? And once we have those revelations, I think going forward in our journey, in our faith journey, we'll be able to combat a lot of things, because this journey is not an easy journey. I can tell you that for free.
Yeah.
Jesus gets baptized. The heavens literally open. God says, "This is my son whom I'm pleased with." Immediately after that, he's tempted in the wilderness. And you think to yourself, how? Literally, when you go read the verses, literally the next chapter, Jesus, he just got baptized. The heavens just got opened. Next chapter, he's in the wilderness. He's tempted. 40 days, 40 nights. And the devil comes with the word. He comes with the word. He comes with the word. So the point is, it's very important that we take up the mind of Christ, that we constantly, and renewal of the mind is, we are told to do it every day. I really think we're supposed to do it every second. Because you and I could be having such a potent conversation right now as we are. You leave, you meet up with another person who's on a different level, and then they come with you know what I mean? And now that literally takes away from what you and I just experienced. So the renewal of the mind, I think, should constantly, should happen on a split second basis, I think.
Yeah.
Where every second, I'm renewing my mind. So yeah, just thinking about you saying you thought God didn't love you, picking yourself up after that. How was the journey? What were the steps you took?
So the thing about this is,
Yeah.
it's not like what's this called? Medication.
Yeah.
You don't consume it, 3 days later you're good.
100%.
It took time. I remember after doing this, I started feeling like my usual self. Then came what's this relapsing. I stopped. I neglected the Bible. I'm like, I'm good now. Thank you, God. Whoop, put the Bible aside. What happened? Came knocking again, but not as loud. Thank the Lord, not as loud. And then I realized, oh, okay, I need to become consistent. I started becoming consistent. Sorry, I tried to read the Word. And the problem is, one thing that I've learned, and I'm still trying to learn and conquer, is that I've realized that the enemy, unfortunately, he knows the Word too.
Yes.
I remember there was a time where my favorite, I like to say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And then I remember I failed at something. I don't remember what. And my mind was like, didn't you say you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you? And then I froze. I just remember. I apologize that I don't remember exactly what, but I remember freezing. And I'm like, to what extent can I do all things through Christ who strengthens me? And then I realized that, as much as we can say that through all our activities, when you wake up in the morning, brush our teeth, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But it's according to his will at the end of the day. And it made me realize that I have the plans for my life, but nothing will happen in my own will if it's not according to the will of God. And when I accepted that, when I humbled myself, one of the things I love about Christianity, let me quickly break away. The thing of accepting being a sheep, that is something difficult for me. I'm like, a sheep. I don't want to be a sheep. I want to be a lion.
That's weak. Yeah.
That's weak. But the fact of accepting yourself as a sheep, because Jesus, he washed the feet of the disciples. Such a low class act. He did it himself. Someone of such great stature, he did it.
Yeah, you know what you're saying. It's so powerful, and I talk about this, the hypostatic man, right, or being. So that entails God being 100% man and 100% God. Now you can imagine you have a God who's washing his disciples' feet. What is that?
Exactly.
Shoo, yeah.
it's I still, till this day, I don't understand why, but it shows how, for me, it shows me a lesson that you need to humble yourself.
100%.
Humble yourself. And that's something that I'm struggling to do still. And a lot of men are very, very, very prideful, in my opinion. And I don't blame them. We're kind of forced to be prideful. We're forced to believe in our own strength, because we're forced to believe that we're forced into a mindset of, you must do this, you must do that. So, of course, if you're not in an environment where um, you give thanks to God, you're gonna put faith in your own abilities, and that's
Yeah.
gonna lead you to a path where you realize that, oh, I can't do this anymore. But sorry, to go back um, into the journey. Sorry. So yeah, I'm realizing that I need to humble myself before the Lord, and realizing that, according to the will of the Lord, then A, B, and C will be done.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what happened. I think from after winter, spring, and then we went back to school. Once I went back to school, it was difficult transitioning back into that. But yeah.
Yeah. I like the notion of humility, um, because humility in essence is you saying, God, I'm going to decrease so that you can increase.
Mm.
Like I said, I've been saved 10 years now. I serve God, you know. I have my imperfections, my shortfalls, my flaws, etc. And I always say, sometimes you need to get home and look at the life that you've built for yourself through the grace of God. Because when you think about it, what life was 10 years ago, what life was 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 6 months ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 days ago,
Yeah.
it's not the same. And that alone is a blessing.
Mm.
I meet a lot of people, and, they put me on a certain pedestal, and I don't like that. They like to esteem me, what. And I always say to people, I am not what I do for work, right? Because people associate that with the level of respect that they need to give you. And I've never understood that.
Yeah.
That for me is mind boggling. So I've managed to achieve certain things because of God. And because of that, people start perceiving you differently. I don't want to call it a realization, but I think it was a realization. And I remember confessing it. And this is a couple of days ago, where I was like, I need God for anything and everything. This is a grown 31-year-old saying that. Some people might think, well, why do you need God? Right? But I don't know what was happening. I remember something was happening. And this is last week or the week before. This is very recent. And I had this thing in my heart where I'm like, yo, like I actually need God. Without God, I don't think I'd be alive. I don't think I'd be able to survive. There's just so many things that happen.
Yeah.
We deal with this, that, and the other. And without that being in my life, I don't know how I would cope. And really, that is a form of humility.
Mm.
When you look at First Peter, I don't know how well you know your Bible. How well do you know your Bible?
Out of a rank from 1 to 10, to be honest with you, I'll probably say a 4.
A 4.
Yeah, I do need improvement.
Okay. So First Peter, chapter 5, verse 6. You know what it says? It's one of my favorite verses.
First Peter,
Yeah.
I have no clue.
It says that humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Verse 7 says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Now, understand that for verse 7 to happen,
you must do verse 6.
It needs to be predicated by verse 6. And I think that's what a lot of people don't get. So I'm so happy that you brought up humility, because I think it's a thing, and humility is not necessarily always in like a bad light. Right? Sometimes humility is recognizing and acknowledging that, dude, I can't do this by myself. And that's it. And you say, God, I can't. Mary, when Jesus was about to be crucified, the prayer that she prayed was a prayer of help, where she said, help me. I don't know what to do. And that is humility. That is you exalting God. That is you when you do that, you exalt him. And we are in this world, in this life, at the end of the day, to exalt him. You know, it's
100%.
part of our worship.
100%.
It's part of our worship. So humility, sometimes it's as simple as saying, my God, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've had moments where, especially towards the winter time, when every Thursday we have rehearsal at church for media, right? And because it's winter, it's cold, some people would not show up.
Yeah.
And I remember praying one time, and I said, God, can I just have my team show up? And not everyone showed up, but you had like most people showing up. And that for me was an answered prayer. You know what I mean? That is a sign of, this is beyond me, right? So I'm gonna include God, or I'm gonna bring God into the equation. It's a sign of humility. So humility, very good. I'm glad that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how's your relationship with God now?
Right now, in the current state of time, right now I'm in exams, writing an exam tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think it's a season of faith, especially with the services and the evening service. I go to the evening services, and a pattern I've been picking up is the pattern of having faith. And I've been trying to implement that, having a faithful sound. My mother and I, something we have in common, we love to stress. We stress, we complain a lot. We stress about, A is not going well, A, B is not working out, C is not working out, I don't know what to do, you know? But then, and we call ourselves Christians. This is the funny part, you know?
Yeah.
But I've been trying to learn, especially in this season, to have faith in the Lord and to realize that I've made it this far with Him, and I trust that He can do it again. So in the current states of being, my relationship with God is I'm having faith, I'm praying, He's working, and He's always working. And it's the thing of I try not to do so, but then I've noticed that I put God in a position where, I want Him to be in. So God, I want you to help me do A, B, and C the way I'd want to. And I realized that most things in my life, that if I had control of the way they went, I wouldn't have appreciated them the way I appreciate them now. You know, for example, I remember, I'm a gamer, by the way. I enjoy playing games. I remember it was not playing games with people on the console. I remember it was 2021, not 2021, 2020. We had a dog, Bruno, a pit bull. We brought him in our estate, and our estate doesn't allow dogs, by the way. And I was afraid. I was like, God, why did you bring this dog? This dog is going to get us evicted, right? And then the moment I loved that dog, it died. Not immediately, but the same week, it died. And I felt so hurt because I allowed this dog into my heart, and then it died. And I realized that, it taught me to appreciate things now while they last. So it's certain things in my life like that have made me realize that He's driving, He's in the driving seat, He's in control. As much as I can pray for hours, but God's plan is already written. There's nothing I can do. I cannot pick up an eraser and erase this.
Yeah.
It's finished and cloud.
Okay, listen, I know you have to go study. Let's wrap it up. 2 things that I want you to touch on as we wrap it up.
No pressure.
The first thing, what was the first? Oh, yeah, the first thing, you are in matric right now, 100%. Right? What's next for you?
Um,
What are you looking at doing afterwards?
I'm interested in, I would say media, right? I remember the first YouTube video I watched. I watched it on my auntie's laptop in grade two. You know, she was in varsity. She bought her laptop. I mean, her tablet. Sorry, from varsity. And my cousin and I would watch YouTube's, and I enjoyed watching content. And I specifically enjoy. I picked up an interest recently of taking up content, fixing it, and producing it, like the outputs, basically editing. And I found that when I look at my work, I feel a bit of an achievement. I feel like a little bit of I don't know how to put it, but I'm like, wow, you know, I
Yeah,
did
yeah,
that,
yeah.
you know. So
Proud.
yeah, proud.
Yeah.
Thank you. So it makes me feel that I'm in that state, and I appreciate it from God a lot because I didn't realize it until this year, and I'm hoping to go in that direction. However, I know that it's a thing of I don't have the final say. So I'm just acknowledging that. For example, my peers are saying, I'm gonna do IT, I'm gonna do A, B, and C, and I'm saying, you know,
Yeah.
bro, I'm proud of you. Do that. But I want you to be okay with the fact knowing that if it doesn't happen, would you still love God? You know, that's the question you need to answer.
Would you still love God if it doesn't happen?
And
That's
if
beautiful. That is so beautiful. And then to young people,
my brothers and sisters,
yeah, any last remarks that you want to make to them?
simply don't listen to people when they say the sky is the limit. When they're literally footprints on the moon. That's my favorite quote. It reminds me that people like to limit you, put you in a bubble, especially family. People don't talk about how family can limit you. That I don't think you're good at this. I don't think you're good at that. Especially from loved ones. It hurts when it comes from loved ones. People are supposed to nurture us, put us in this protective bubble, and they're the ones that are saying that you can't do that. It hurts. But I challenge you to believe that you can actually achieve things that make you scared when you dream of it. And the beautiful thing about God, for example, when I was in grade nine, I wrote on a piece of paper, sorry. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to make it to the NBA. And I forgot the last thing. Well, I didn't make it to the NBA, but surprisingly, I'm doing YouTube. And I was prolonging YouTube because of the way I speak. I wasn't necessarily happy with the person that I was. And I'm still trying to work on that self love, self development. Um, so it's a thing of that's the beauty of God. You end up doing things, or you end up putting you into places where you don't think you're equipped with, and He equips you with it. He strengthens you. So I'm currently doing YouTube as a hobby, and then yeah, the opportunities, the fact that I'm here, thank God, I didn't expect to be here.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
100%. Omolemo, ladies and gentlemen. Fascinating guy, super fascinating guy. I could talk to you all day, man.
I appreciate that.
But he has to go study. Yeah, I'm out of words, really. I'm really out of words. But thank you so much for watching. My name is Tabang Makubela. Until next time, cheers.